Hello everyone, welcome to this video on file handling, reading data from text file. You will learn more about readline, readlines and iterating over file in this particular video. In last video, we have seen 6 points about the file handling. What is file handling, why we need file handling, types of files, types of operations on file, how does file handling works, and file handling example. So if you have not seen this video, first you can see this video and then jump to this particular video. We have already seen these 4 steps of file handling. First one is create a file, second open the file, third perform operations like a read, write or append on the file, and then finally once the operations are over, close the file. Whenever we want to read a file should already exist, or if file is not there, then very first thing is we need to create a file. So let us assume that our file is in current directory and the file name is test_file.txt, and say for example we want to keep this content within the file. So now let us create a file named test_file and let us copy paste this content. So we have this content within the test_file file. So very first step is completed, that is creating a file. The second step is we have to open a file. So for opening a file, Python provides a function open and it takes 2 arguments. First one is the name of the file that you want to read, and second is a mode of operations. We have already seen what are the different modes. So if we specify R in single quote, then the mode is said to be read mode, means we want to read data from the file, and if we specify W means we want to write content to the file and it is referred to as a write mode. And if you want to create a new file, then you have to specify X. If you want to append content to the existing file, then you have to specify A in single quote. So that is what the meaning of this second argument mode. So this function open function opens a file and returns a file object or file handle, and it is stored in some variable, say F. We can have any user defined object name over here. Then we have to use this file object or file handle with the read function to read data from the file. So here is a sample code for that. The name of the function, the name of the file that we have created just now, and then read mode. And here we are using this file handle with this read function to read content. This read function will read the content of the whole file, and then here we are specifying f.read within the print itself, so it will directly print the content of file also. And then finally, after reading the data, finally we are closing the file. We have created a file, we have opened the file, then we are performing the read operation, and then finally fourth step is nothing but closing the file. Now let us run this piece of code, and we can see that whatever content we have stored in this particular file, the same content is over here, right? It has read the complete file content. Now let me add one more line. Say this line is added later on. Now let us save it and let us run it again, and we can see that this line is added later on. So in short, the read function reads the content of the file till the end of the file. Now here we have closed the file. Now if we try to read content from this file once again using this f.read function, then let's see what happens. So here we can see that value error, I operation on close file. As the file is already closed, so now we cannot perform read operation. So if we want to again perform the read operation, we need to open the file again. Now suppose we have other files, say for example welcome.txt, and we want to read content from this. It is similar, but here I will just change the name of the file, right? Now let us try to read and print the content, and here we can see that file not found error. No such file or directory welcome.txt, but we can see that that file is already over here, welcome.txt, but this file is not in current directory. The current directory is this one, that is programs section 8 file handling. This is my current directory, but this welcome.txt is not in the current directory, and hence we need to specify complete path to this file. So whenever we are reading or writing to a file, we have to ensure that either the file is within the current directory or we specify absolute or relative path to the file. So here we are taking the complete. So let us specify the complete path over here. So this D drive Ai24 Academy 005 video course. ppt welcome. So this is the complete path, absolute path to the file welcome.txt. Here we can have relative path also. But in short, important point to be noted is if the file is not in current directory, we need to specify path to the file that we want to read or write. Now let us run it, and now we can see that this is a welcome.txt file. It's not in current directory, its location is this one. Thanks for reading data from there. So this is the content of that file. Now let us open that file and let us see whether we have the same content. So now let us compare that content over here. We can see that name of the file is welcome.txt, and whatever the output is already there within the file itself. So this is how we can read a file which is not in the current directory. Now suppose we want to read only few characters or some part of a file, then what we can do? So we can specify the number of characters that we want to read from file as an argument to the read function. Say for example, here we want to read only 5 characters, right? First 5 characters. So this file is nothing but text address. So here first 5 characters are hello. Now let us run, see that. So it has written hello. Now suppose we want to return up to say hello welcome, right? So welcome has 7, 8, 9. So there are 14 characters up to hello. Say for example, let us run it again, and we can see that hello welcome is printed because we are reading 14 characters. So this is how we can read part of a file or specified number of characters from file using number of characters as argument to the read function. Now next is, let us read one or more lines from a file. So there is a function readline. So we have to open file as usual using open function with file name and read mode as a parameter to the open function. This open function returns a file handle or file object which will be stored in F, and using this file handle or file object we can use that file handle with the readline function, and it can read line of text from the file. Now let us, and finally after reading we are printing and we are closing the file. So now we can see that hello welcome to Ai24 Academy, and here we can see that the first line is hello welcome to Ai24 Academy. Fine. Now similar to read function, here also we can specify the number of characters that we want to read from that first line. Say for example here, right, we can see that hello, as we have specified 5, so 5 characters. If we specify 14 similar to the previous case, then we can see that hello welcome. So the file content is hello welcome to Ai24 Academy, but we are reading 14 characters. So it is possible to read number of characters that we want to read from the even single line also. And finally we are closing the file. Now say for example we have some file which consists of student records or some records of some data, and we want to read the lines one by one in a loop. So here it reads only a single line or few characters, but if you want to read multiple lines, then we need to iterate over the file one by one using readline function. Let us check the file student underscore record. So here I have ID of a student, the name of the student, and then percentage. So 3 information within one record, and we have 5 records within this file. So if we want to process these files line by line, then we need a for loop with a readline function. Say for example we want to read this information and we want to print only those records from this file where the percentage mark is greater than 90. So here there are 2 students having many, right? So what kind of logic, what logic we can have? We can read the records one by one from the file, and we can store that data in one variable, say over here ln underscore data, and then we can split that data into different parts, and we can see that the percentage marks is the 4th one, that is at index 3, and hence after splitting the data we are taking that percentage mark over here, converting it to integer, and then comparing it with the 90, and if the marks is greater than percentage marks is greater than 90, then only we are printing. So now let us run this one, and here we can see that the Ram Joshi 95, then John Lewis 92. So only out of all, see here we are iterating over the file for 5 times because there are 5 records, but only these 2 records are printed. Yeah. So this is how we can use readline function with for loop to print the selected records from the file using this kind of if statement. Now say for example we are say once again let us take the test underscore text file, and we are opening the file for reading, and F is containing the file object, and say first we are reading a line, and then in second statement we are reading 3 characters, and then again we are reading a line. Now let us see what happens. So here we can see that first line is printed using this particular, and then 3 characters using this read line, and we can see that here we are getting S. Now let us open that file and let us check. So here we can see that this THI is printed using this second line, and then remaining line is printed as a third line of output. Means it is not reading this one, but the read line will continue reading from where it has left reading over here, right? So second line, the content was read up to this one, and then using third read line, it will continue reading from where it has left in this particular line. So this is how the read line function works. Here we have a read line function, but there is also a read lines function. And now we are reading, say for example, data from student_record.txt file, and let us see what happens. So here we can see that here is a list, and list within list we have different records. We can see that there are 5 records within student_records.txt file, and here these 5 records are separated by comma within this list. Means this read lines function reads all the lines from the file, and it will store all the lines within a list. So this is what the use of readline function. Single readline function will read single line, but read lines will read all the lines one by one, and also it is appending new line character at the end of every line. This is how we can use readline functions to read all the lines in one go, and it will store it within a list. Now let us see how we can read the content from a file without readline or readlines function. So here is a syntax for reading whole file, means how we can iterate over a file without read or readline file. We open the file student_records.txt file using open function in the same way as we have done earlier. Then in for loop for x in f, then within the loop we are printing the x. So over here what happens? It has already opened this file. Now it will go on reading the content from the file line by line, and it will automatically detect the new line. So it will read one line at a time, and it will print, and finally we are closing the file. Now let us run it, and here we can see that it has printed the content line by line like this. So it will automatically detect the end of file. So that time it will automatically stop iterating over the file. So this is how we can iterate over a file and read whole content even without read or readline or readlines function. So in this video we have learned read, readline, readlines, and iterating over file using a for loop. So here we are ending this video. Thanks for watching. Have a great time.